Bliko, Sip Anandvi, Sip Girish, Ananda, Sip Anil, Sip Sadanand, Sip Rajendra, Sip Sagai, Sip Madhu, Sip Chotwani, Sip Ashish, Sip Krishna, Sip Anupa, Sip Siva, Sip Surinder, Sip Lawrence, Sip Anil, Sip Sundargiri, Sip Lakshmi, Sip Renuka. Welcome all of you. And if you notice, we greet with Sip because every individual is Sip. Each of you is a supreme immortal power. Each of you is no less, none other than the supreme immortal power, Sip. Okay, so let us start. Today we have an interesting conversation. The subject of discussion, Nirvana, Moksha, salvation. This is if there's the one most difficult word in the world that people don't understand, it is this. It is the word Nirvana, Moksha, salvation, different words meaning the same thing. What is this? Chotwani, Bliss, and Rutanu. Yes, Chotwani.
Shivam, sir.
Shivam Ashok.
Nirvana, moksha, salvation, all are same, one thing.
Yes.
To achieve the meaning of nirvana is free from the cycle of rebirth. To achieve nirvana, first of all, we have to achieve self-realization and God realization. That is enlightenment. And after attaining enlightenment, we have to live as an instrument of God. At the time of death, if we are as an instrument of God, then we will get moksha, sir.
Beautiful. How, where are you on that journey? Where have you reached?
I am very near to that, sir.
Very good.
Yeah.
Ashok Chotwani is a very committed and dedicated person. Ashok, we have not met. Ashok, have we met or not?
No, we will meet at retreat, sir. First time we will meet. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashok Chotwani. Bliss. Bliss has come from Canada to meet us. Yes, Bliss.
Hi, Shvam, dear Shvam, everyone, love you all.
Yes, Bliss.
I think, I'm not sure, but let me say, the word moksha, nirvana, salvation and liberation, it's the same matter. That's one say we are free from the rebirth and to return in the life, and we are free from all the sins and the karma and everything, and we reach a state where we are united with God and the supreme immortal power. So individual soul are with the divine after the moksha, the salvation.
Have you already achieved that?
I've not achieved that yet, but I will. For sure.
Thank you.
It's my goal.
Very beautifully said. Thank you, my dear Bliss. Rutanu. Ashok Nichani.
Shivam, Guruji. Guruji, they are all have three words have the same meaning: to get out of the cycle of birth and death. And it is after we get enlightenment.
So will everybody who get enlightenment attain moksha?
Not necessarily.
What can happen?
They can come back into bhoga.
Good. Thank you, Ruth.
Guruji, I was so amazed yesterday. The third generation is learning so much. My daughter knew almost quite a few things, like what is SIP, what is Neptus, PEP, and few things she knew. And she was saying, and she was asking me, you ask me questions, I will answer.
That is very good. What she's learning from you is more important than anything else. So remember that. This, if she learns this, there can be nothing better than this. This is very beautiful. Good, Ratan. Ashok Nichani.
Shom Sardi.
Sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, Sardi. It's to realize self. You should get self-realization and God realization. You should realize I am not the body, mind, and ego.
Then what happens, Ashok, in the state of nirvana and moksha and salvation? What happens?
You become one with the divine.
And then what happens?
Moksha, you get free, liberated.
But everybody has told something, but nobody has told the first part of it. Everybody is telling the second part of it.
Sarji, one of your bhajans, can I play?
Yes. We can't hear. Okay, we can't hear. Don't worry, Ashok. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Thank you, Ashok. Krishna, see, understand, all of you are saying correct, but all of you are going straight. You're going, the rocket is going from Earth to space. You're not talking about the Earth, you're talking about the space. So what about the Earth? Krishna, let me see if Krishna can start from the Earth to the space.
So Shivoham.
Shivoham.
So the understanding, maybe all these three words point to the same purpose, but moksha means at the time of death, when soul departs, body dies. And mind and ego is not reborn in another body because the ignorance have been overcome and he realizes that he is SOUL. Therefore, the soul becomes liberated and the soul is, I say, be liberated hai, but at death, there is no rebirth. And so he becomes liberated and becomes one with Sip. Soul becomes unified with Sip at the time of death.
Beautiful. But
and now Nirvana, it is from the called understanding is, it is a Buddhist concept. Though he doesn't talk about soul, he says about Apo Dipo Bhava. That means to light the inner lamp and get enlightened so that they are liberated from the cycle of birth and death.
But yeah? Somebody asked an interesting question. If Buddha did not believe in soul and did not believe, then what is rebirth? How does rebirth happen? And then they get stuck. Yeah. There's no clarity in that. Okay.
And salvation, I think, I'm not very clear about salvation. I think it is more a generalized term to transcend from even the material suffering, the body, mind, ego, as well as to realize the world is an illusion and to get liberated, and so that to get enlightened to the final realization. Maybe.
Good. Yeah, I think everybody in this call is a master. So you can ask me any questions on the subject, and I will also like to explain to you all a little bit more. You all know the answer, everybody. So actually, when I ask a question, most of the masters give the answers. And I don't have to really, in the end, I will summarize it. One aspect before I go to Manita. See, Nirvana, the term Nirvana also refers to a term Ananda. So Nirvana means eternal bliss, divine love, everlasting peace. So Nirvana, Moksha and salvation have two parts. All of you have spoken about freedom from the cycle of death and rebirth. But it is first freedom from all suffering on earth. That is the first step of Nirvana. First, freedom from suffering on earth, and second, freedom from cycle of rebirth. A person who is suffering on this earth cannot get moksha. Anybody who's suffering on this world, there may be pain, there may be disease, but a person with transcended suffering. Yes, Krishna.
Okay, sir. So when you say he is a self-realized person, that means that is understood, right, sir?
He's a self-realized person, means he realizes I'm not body, mind, ego, I am soul. So he should not suffer. If he's fully awakened, if he's completely in consciousness, he won't suffer. He will not suffer pain of the body, misery of the mind, agony of the ego. Body will have pain. Definitely body will have pain. No body is free from pain. Every body has pain. But the self-realized person has no suffering.
So basically he has transcended all karma.
Transcended all karma, transcended all suffering, all of it. Okay, Manita. Can't hear you, Anita. Yes, Shivam, can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, please tell me.
Okay, so what you mentioned that everybody's like, how about the earth? So what I feel is, once you are enlightened, awakened, whatever happens around you is just a myth. Whatever it shouldn't affect you. And I feel if you achieve that state, whatever happens to you, to your mind, body, your soul should not get affected. Hence, you reach that state of nirvana, or such, what do you say, ananda state, right? So you're in eternal bliss. Whatever happens, happens, but your state does not get affected.
Yeah, good, Vanita. So that's what it is. So you are in a state where you think that when you reach a state of nirvana, the state of salvation, this is the first step. What is the first step? That this lila, this maya does not affect you. That's
Right.
the first step. Second step, no suffering. Then the third step, when the body dies, the immortal soul becomes one with Sip. This is moksha. Moksha is liberation and unification. In
Right.
in Buddhism, nirvana is freedom from. There's no unification because there's no God, but there is freedom from the cycle of rebirth. But then what happens? What happens to the person who was alive and dead? If there's no rebirth, where does that person go? What is that person? Therefore, in this Zoom call, we are very clear. Nirvana, moksha, salvation. What is the meaning? Sometimes in salvation, they say we will go to heaven and we will become one with the divine, one with the Father in heaven. So we have to be very clear. Nirvana and salvation and moksha in our terms, in terms of the Zoom call, AiR Ask AiR. Clarity, complete clarity. Will, thank you, Manita. Will,
I do have a couple of more questions, if you're okay.
let's come back after the one more round, okay? Manita, let everybody
Okay,
talk of the main subject. Will,
Shivohang Sip.
Shivoham.
I would say, first of all, everybody's answer is correct because you can talk about these in different ways. So I in no way disagree with anything that's said.
Yes, very good.
But what I can say from the Buddhist perspective is he talked about things in a slightly different way, not contradictory, but he stressed the word asava, which means like defilement, very much. And moksha is freedom from defilement, should we say, which includes avidya. Moksha is freedom from avidya, especially, but also from attachment and also from hatred. Those three. Moksha is liberation from those three. And secondly, the word salvation is a Christian word, but you could use it for this. To me, it would be, I would apply it as you did, freedom from karma, rebirth, this type of thing. I think the question I have for you, if I'm not wrong, is that the enlightened person is free from the mind. Is that correct?
Yes, and then person is free.
Yeah. So, and then the word nirvana is disputed even by the Pali scholars. They disagree, and I have translated it with the word untroubled, which means like peace. You could say peace, and it's peace from, especially from defilement again. So it's free. It's the untroubled by the ego, mind. It's an untroubled state, untroubled by the I am, untroubled by the ego, untroubled by identity. So it's a pure state, should we say.
So very beautiful. So Will, what you're saying is very beautiful. So my dear friends, what Will has said, let us take a step back. Now, whether it is nirvana, moksha, salvation, let it be any of these things. Let's just keep these things in the front. Let's go back. What Will said just now, self-realization. And what is self-realization? He said is transcending the mind. Mind you cannot find. Nobody in this Zoom call has seen the mind. Nobody in this world has seen the mind. You cannot see the mind because the mind doesn't exist. The mind appears to be. It is not even like air. You can blow air in a balloon, but you cannot blow the mind into a balloon. You can't transfer my mind to your mind. No, it's just a bundle of thoughts. Therefore, before we reach the state of nirvana, moksha, salvation, the first step is that question, who am I? You cannot achieve nirvana, moksha, salvation without who am I? Am I the body that will die? Am I the mind which I cannot find? Am I the ego that stands tall like a wall? So this is the key question. And if we are not able to answer this key question, then Will and the rest of us, we cannot move towards, even before moksha is mukti. When Buddha spoke about Nirvana, he wanted to simplify the complicated religions in his time. How many gods? What about the rituals about the soul? So the Buddha tried to make life very simple and he called it Nirvana. And in Nirvana means Ananda. Nirvana means the state of eternal bliss, freedom from suffering, freedom from the mind, freedom from the ego. Now, all this itself leads to moksha, leads to salvation. For example, you can't attain salvation if you're a sinner. If you're living a bad karma life, how can you attain salvation? How can you face God? How can you reach heaven? Now, different way of understanding. So many of you may still be in any of these terms. Some of you may believe in nirvana, some of you may believe in moksha, some of you believe in salvation. I don't worry about these topics. I don't worry about these topics. For me, realizing I am not I, I'm not body, mind, ego, I am the soul. Soul is sip, sip is in all. I see sip in all, I serve sip in all, I love sip in all. End of story.
Yes.
That
Could
is nirvana, that is salvation, that is nirvana, that is moksha. Yes, Will, would you like to continue on?
I have one point. I came across a very interesting idea yesterday. In the Indian tradition, you have the story of the blind men and the elephant. And this story is usually, it's said that the blind men feel the elephant and then afterwards they start arguing and they about the nature of the elephant. That's one interpretation. But the other thing that the blind men can do is that they can get together and they can put their thoughts together and they can cooperate. So this is the other way. And I think what this is the same with religions. You can end up arguing which one is the right one, or you can get together and see if you can cooperate and put the thing together.
So can I ask you a question, Will?
Yes, sir.
Is what you're saying very complicated or very simple?
Very simple.
Why are they not doing it?
They are blinder than blind.
No, they are not only blinder than blind. They have got some ulterior motive. They have some other agenda.
Yes, sir.
Be clear about it, Will. Don't tell me, Will, that you and me are smarter than all the religious monks in the world. Don't tell me that.
Yes.
These religious leaders do not want to sit together and come to a conclusion. They
Yes.
want this world to be in a confusion, because
Yes.
if this world is not in a confusion, their business will come to an end.
Yes. I have one thing. Nowadays, there's a lot of interfaith work. The religions come together, they have a conference, they talk about things, and they present their arguments. But in reality, the point of religion is to lead you to silence. Each one should be leading to silence. When each one leads to silence, where can there be disagreement? At the top, when you're in silence, there is no disagreement. The disagreement is only when you're still thinking. As long as there's thinking, there's disagreement.
But ultimately, no religion is willing to accept that all our gods are one and all our scriptures are one. Every religion is telling their followers, my God is the God, my scripture is the scripture. You follow only my scripture and my God.
Yes,
And
well,
then
as long as there's mind, then there can be money and there can be fame. But if you give up thinking, you give up money, you give up your name, you give up your...
Great idea, but that's why we are on this call. That's why very few people are on this call, because you know how many people run after religion? Millions, billions, because it's blind faith. In India now, the whole India is talking about Tirupati Laddu. The whole of India is talking about prasadam, in which they have put beef fat and pork fat, and they are fighting about what laddu is being eaten in the temple, as if the laddu matters so much. But this is what religion is. Religion is just another drama, a drama of God, and it only takes us round and round. We will never, as I said, if you want God, you must start with religion. If you want God, you must let go of religion.
I think what you can say is where there's religion, there's arguments. This is what
Yes, there will never be synergy, because if there's synergy, then all the religions will be over. They'll be finished. Then what will be left is spirituality, and they don't want it. They don't want that.
In the West, we've had a lot of problems with the Christians and Muslims fighting. The Christians will go to the Palestine and fight there. Then the Muslims come back, they fight there. This is really bad, very bad.
So yes, we are seeing it right now. We are seeing it in Gaza and now in Lebanon. And so this is going, and all being rooted. All our wars are rooted in religion.
Hmm.
And religion is being used for selfish reasons by powerful people to become more powerful. So, Will, we can continue this, but I hope we are back to the subject. Thank you, Will. Sachin.
Hello,
Yes, Sachin.
Shivam Guruji.
Sure, sir.
The understanding which I've got about this is, Guruji, that the first step is that self, enlightenment, then
Yes,
self-realization, and then God realization, and then liberation. These are the
cor-
four steps one has to go through.
correct.
This is my understanding from the calls, and
No, correct. Absolutely correct. And this, what you said, enlightenment, self realization, God realization, liberation, this is equal to nirvana, moksha, salvation. This is the
right,
answer.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
it. But Sachin, what is important is this whole journey is a journey of happiness. This is a
Right.
journey of divine love. This is a journey of peace. So this journey is the most essential journey of any human being. And if a human being doesn't understand the meaning of this journey, then the human being is going to just go round and round in circles. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you,
Right.
Sachin.
Thank you.
Rajinder Sundargiri Anand.
Shivam sir,
Sir, namaskar.
namaskar sir. Sir, on this path of enlightenment, when we transcend body, mind, and ego, it is transcended. A state of being is reached. One, जैसे आप बोलते हैं, nothingness. When one's individuality is lost in a state of nobodiness, in a state of nothingness, and one is left only with individual consciousness and awareness all around. That state we may call, I think, nirvana. When there's nothing other than the awareness all around. There's nothingness. There's no body, mind, and ego. So at the same time, at this stage, when we are free from the samsara, samsara dukha, samsaric maya, and we just jivan mukta, we can lead a life of jivan mukta. That at this stage, I may call it at this just say salvation ki stage पे बोल सकता हूँ मैं इसको.
Salvation.
And salvation. Then ultimately, I may say the third process, the third stage, the moksha. Moksha, I may call it that absolute freedom, absolute spiritual freedom, freedom from cycle and rebirth, where the samsaric maya and the leela is you are away from that. You are free from this all this leela. जो आना जाना है चक्कर है. When you are free from this, then I may call it moksha.
So what you said is very beautiful. Let me just quickly थोड़ा सा मैं आपको align करूं. Nirvana आपने सही कहा. What is it? But in nirvana, the key word is ananda. Nirvana में key word of nirvana मतलब दुखों से मुक्त होना. तो nirvana का एक ही मतलब है दुखों से मुक्त होना and rebirth से मुक्त होना. And what you said, salvation थोड़ा complicated है. Because the Christian term of salvation is हमें स्वर्ग में जाना है. स्वर्ग में ये जो हम हमारे कृष्ण भक्त बोलते हैं ना, कृष्ण के पास जाना है, कृष्णा, ये प्रॉब्लम आ जाता है.
आपकी काल से मैंने I have took salvation as जैसे as जीवन मुक्ता like that. जैसे मैं समझ गया उसको.
No, you are taking it okay, but I'm telling you what the world understands.
Okay.
The world के understand में salvation is equal to जो कृष्ण के भक्त बोलता है मुझे कृष्ण के वैकुंठ में जाना है. So they don't understand कि वैकुंठ में who will go to वैकुंठ? Where is वैकुंठ? How will we go? Who will go? There is no answer to these questions. तो मोक्ष क्या है? Again you have explained properly. But small, actually, Rajendra, therefore, nirvana, salvation, moksha, they are one and the same. They are not different. All same.
Okay.
Thank you, Rajendra. Sundargiri and Anand.
Hello, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, bolo, Sundar.
Yeah, in my understanding, sir, the moksha, salvation, these terms, actually, it is the state where suffering and pleasure does not affect at all, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So one who got enlightenment or got moksha, salvation, he is completely established in the state of singularity. There is no duality. There is no suffering. There is no pleasure. There is no death. There is no birth.
Correct.
And there is no duality at all. So
Yes.
that state is the salvation. That's what I think, sir. And actually, the whole spirituality is full of abstract language and abstract thoughts, even abstract people also. So we have to be very simple that we know very well that there is suffering, there is pleasure, but we don't know what is the rebirth. What is we get a rebirth or not. We are not sure at all.
No,
Till in this
so
level.
let's take the question very simply. As you're talking, Sundargiri, I'm getting a question from YouTube. Adrian is asking, it's very rare to feel pain and not suffer. How to do that? How is it that you feel pain and you don't suffer? Adrian on YouTube. When you feel pain and you realize you are not the body that is feeling the pain, you are the consciousness, the soul, then the body experiences pain, but you don't suffer the pain. Suffering is different.
Exactly,
Pain is
sir.
different.
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
example, somebody may have fear. Somebody has fear and somebody suffers from fear. Suffering from
definitely.
fear is different and having fear is different. So the way to be able to have pain but not suffer is to be in consciousness. I am not this body that is having pain. Okay, my finger is paining. My finger, I have a problem. My finger is paining, but I am not suffering. I am free from suffering. My finger has become okay. I'm just wearing this just like that for information. Don't think I'm still, my finger is paining. So my point to all of you and to Adrian on YouTube. So Sundar, we have to make it very simple. And what you're saying, the simplicity is this. It is overcoming ignorance. What Will always says, avidya. Overcoming avidya. Overcoming avidya means wiping out all that is dark, getting that spark. That spark means spiritual awakening or enlightenment. What is the enlightenment? I am not this body. And this does not need a scientist or a professor to teach us. Why? I am not this body because when I was born 9 months before, there was no body. Science shows us the pictures, how the body is developed, how the fetus, the embryo is developed. Everybody in this world agrees. Not one person will disagree about how the fetus or embryo is created. After 9 months, the body comes out. One day, this body becomes 5-6 feet tall. One day, the body dies. But we are not the body because people will burn our body. That's why they burn the body. We are not the body. Very simple. What Sundargiri, what you're saying is answers. We have to understand it in very simple terms without any complication. Right, Sundar?
Yes, sir. That's what my point is, sir. So we don't know in this state, in this stage where we are now, we the seekers, we don't know the rebirth, sir, but we know the suffering, we know the pleasure, we know these things. So we have to be very clear in this regards, rather than rebirth or the next birth, whatever.
So you should be
So
everybody. Are you not clear? Are you clear that your body will die? Any doubt your body will die?
yeah, it will die. Definitely, it will die,
And
sir.
if you are not enlightened, you will be reborn. Any doubt you have about that?
About rebirth, I'm not sure, sir.
So
I know
be sure.
I will die. Definitely, I will die.
Yeah. So then what will happen after you die?
No, I don't know, sir. I don't know. I
So
don't know
you
at
should
all.
know. So you should ask the question. So come back after a few minutes and ask the question. I will explain. Come with a
No,
fresh question.
Yeah, of course, but after enlightenment only, after getting in that state where we are not affected by the suffering and pleasure, at that state only we may know about the rebirth. Is it
No.
possible
No. You
getting
can know
rebirth or
about
not?
you can know about rebirth today. You can know about rebirth now. So please come back in few minutes with the question, what is rebirth? I will answer you in 5 minutes. You must be very
Okay.
clear what is rebirth. Don't have any doubt. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Anand and Brijesh, and then we have Manita in second round. And Sundar can come back in second round. Anand and Brijesh.
Yeah, Shivam Guruji.
Sure.
So I have more a question rather than an answer. So I think yesterday we talked about self-realization, the same as enlightenment, right? That is when the light within us glows, and then as we make progress, we reach towards God realization.
Yes.
So is enlightenment So when we achieve this enlightenment or the state of self-realization, is that itself nirvana and moksha, or the God realization is nirvana and moksha? So that's my question.
Even self-realization is not moksha. Even God realization is not moksha.
Okay, so it's a point beyond that.
Yes, because what happens, Anand, as long as you have self-realization, for example, what is self-realization, Anand? What is self-realization?
Self-realization is I am not the body, mind, ego. I am the soul and I am the SIP. Right? Soul is SIP.
Excellent. What is God realization, Anand?
That 5 points I don't remember.
I told you yesterday, right? God realization
No,
is.
it didn't register in me. Sorry.
Okay. God realization is I am the soul.
I am the soul.
And the soul, I am the soul. The soul is SIP.
Soul is SIP. Okay.
Therefore, I am SIP.
Therefore, I am SIP.
And SIP is in all. This is called ISIS. You want to remember, it's very simple. If you remember how Blicko always talks at ISIS. ISIS.
ISIS. Okay.
And when there is I am the soul, soul is SIP, then if you reach the state where you serve SIP in all, you love SIP in all, you see SIP in all, then you are ready for moksha. Anand, you are ready for moksha. But when does moksha happen, Anand? Moksha happens when you leave the body.
I see. Understand.
Moksha is that moment when you leave the body, when the soul, as long as the soul is in you, can your soul merge with SIP? The soul cannot merge with SIP because the soul is in you.
Understand.
Moksha is that state where the soul merges with SIP. We have another question by Amit. People who have chronic illness will feel pain and will also feel depressed. Yes. People who have chronic illness will feel pain and will feel depressed. Yes. But enlightened people who have chronic illness will not feel pain and will not feel depressed. That's why Ramakrishna Paramahansa had cancer, but he did not feel depressed. So there are many enlightened people, not one or two, many. I think even, I'm told even Ramana Maharishi, I'm not very sure, but I'm told even Ramana Maharishi had some very serious. So all these enlightened people who ultimately feel pain of the body, they don't suffer. They laugh. Arey, why should I go so far? My own Dadaji, my own Guruji, he was 100 years old. At 75, he had a heart attack in Bangalore when he came to inaugurate my business. Then he had to fix a pacemaker. Then he had a paralysis. His whole body got paralyzed when he was around 90, 92. I was 91, 92. So what I'm saying is that enlightened, but he used to laugh. He never suffered. He never got depressed. So enlightened people know how to deal. So Amit and Adrian, I think on YouTube, both the questions are coming from. Nowadays we are live on YouTube. So people are watching on YouTube live and asking questions. Brijesh and Manita.
Shivam Guruji, I had one more question, sorry.
Yes, Anand. Yes, Anand.
So my question is, if my understanding is correct, after enlightenment, we don't get a birth. We don't have to take birth again, right?
Once you are enlightened that I am the soul, ideally you should not get birth, provided you keep that enlightenment going up to the end, till you die, right? Suppose you sink in Bhoga. Suppose you say, I am not the body, I am not the mind. But you want to buy 100 Rolls Royces and you want to buy 100 Rolex watches and you want to marry 100 girls. Then what does it mean? Then you are very much the body, mind, ego. How can you say you are not the body, mind, ego? Therefore, and let me tell you, it's a journey. If your journey after self-realization is abruptly ended by death, there are chances you may get moksha.
I see.
It all depends upon the intensity of your realization and your mumukshutva. How much you seek God, love God, how much you realize about the self. But yes, the moment you are self-realized and your journey is continuing and death happens, you are capable of attaining moksha. If you are living that way. Brijesh. Unmute, Brijesh. Yes, sir.
Yeah, pranam.
Pranam, Brijesh.
There's no big question, but slipping into consciousness, I feel that whenever I want, I can slip into consciousness, but I'm not doing that.
Why?
I take this, I don't know. I really don't know. No. Actually, when I come to you, when I know that I'm going to this call, immediately I slip. And I continue. After this is over, I start doing. But I know if there is any problem, I know that I can differentiate the problem from me. That I'm able to do. But this I'm saying that if I'm 24 hours or at least at 18 hours into that, then that would have been nice. But I think I'm not doing that. So can you
you are
guide me?
not doing you're not doing that because your mind is in command of you.
Yeah, I
Let
give
me-
that. I wantonly I give that.
Let
I
me
don't know why.
explain to you. But
Maybe
let me
wrong. Yeah,
explain.
tell me.
No, of
Please.
course it is wrong. When
Yeah,
you
tell
are
me.
allowing your mind to occupy your life, it means that you are allowing suffering to enter your life.
Got your point. Yes.
So why would you allow suffering to enter your life by giving over to the mind?
Yeah, that is what that is like a type of. I also feel that okay. I understand that. Or I will know.
Because this is exactly we talked about 11 steps. The first step was being aware that your mind is riding your horse. When the mind is riding your horse, the mind becomes the boss. You are at a great loss.
Yeah.
Therefore,
I wantonly give. I don't know.
Why?
I'm giving.
Why?
Maybe something missing. I will try. That means but you see, now I'm
By
the
same
moment
name, so many people are coming.
the moment the matrix the call is over, I just get into that. But anyway, now because you told, I will try to be in that.
No, let me tell you, everybody in this call, what Brijesh is saying, it is so important to build a dam. You know, when you're in the mind state, it means, what does it mean? You know, Brijesh, okay, as an intelligent person, be in consciousness and tell me, why is AiR insisting you must be in consciousness? Why? When you're in the mind state, what happens, Brijesh? Tell me.
We forget the reality and some illusion. No. I will. We forget the reality and some illusion. We are into some illusioned setup, which
Who
is
can
not.
tell Brijesh? Who can tell Brijesh why it is dangerous to not be in consciousness and you must activate the mind? Who can tell Brijesh? No, it's very, very important. हाँ बाला बोलो बाला आंसर देगी ब्रिजेश को why it is important to be in consciousness not in mind बोलो.
Because in mind you have lot of suffering, you go into past, you go into present, and you go into past, you go into future. Worries होता है गुरुजी. Stress, irrelevant thoughts. You start blaming people. You start blaming people, then you find what we say. इसमें से क्या ढूंढूं मैं कि
वो सब correct वो सब क्यों? I'm sure some master will give the answer. Why?
When you are in the mind state, these are the problems.
No, what is the key? What is the most important key? Raji, tell me, Raji, what is the most important key? Unmute Raji. Come on, Raji.
Fear, worry, stress, anger, 7 monsters will kill you.
And what happens when you go from mind to consciousness? What is the key? What is the key importance?
Key importance, we will come out of ignorance and we will be positive. From nep to pep, we will come
What
back.
will happen? Why? How? Why? What?
No, if you are consciousness, then mind will not come, no. So
Correct.
mind means
So
all these desires.
So why? What is the most important? Meenakshi, what is the most important?
The intellect is activated in consciousness.
That is the answer. No, the intellect is activated in consciousness.
Yes. Correct.
Raji, correct or not, Raji?
Correct point.
What you're saying is correct. What Raji also said is correct. What Bala said also correct. But who is going to be? The moment you are in mind state, what Meenakshi said,
Yeah.
the moment you're in mind state, there is no intellect.
Yes. I
And the
get you.
moment there is no intellect, you become miserable. You're dead, you're finished, you're gone.
No,
Be
I
clear,
have a
my dear
flair for
friends.
it.
Be very
Seems.
clear.
Yeah. It seems I know there is no suffering when there is consciousness, at the moment of consciousness. But I wantonly go there, slip. So maybe I have developed over a period of taste on that agony or on that taste.
Brijesh,
Brijesh,
listen to me carefully now.
please.
Listen to me carefully.
Please.
I went to China 25 years back. Can you hear me? Bala, Raji, can you hear me? I went to China how many years back, Brijesh?
25 years. 25 years.
After I went to China, it's a place called Yiwu. Y-I-W-U, Yiwu. 25 years back I went. I was going to sleep in the night. I could not sleep. I put one blanket, I put two blankets, I put three blankets, I put four blankets. I could not sleep in the night. I could not understand why, because I had closed all the windows and I had, morning when I woke up, you know what I found? I found in one window, which I closed, there is no glass. This is a real story.
Yeah.
So, because there was no glass, the outside temperature was 4 degrees. 4 degrees outside temperature. How could I could not, I was frozen. So, Brijesh, when you are letting one window without the glass, what is happening, Brijesh?
Yes.
I hope you remember the example.
I am seeing that. But anyway, now I will be strict with me.
Be very strict. Thank you. Thank you. We have got now second questions by Manita and then Sundargiri. Before Manita and Sundargiri, Amit, thanks for your reply. Does the subtle body of an enlightened person after death disintegrate into subtle elements or just hang around guiding people from the other side? The subtle body of an enlightened person dissolves into nothing because it doesn't exist. The subtle body is me, the mind and ego, also memory and MIME, mind, intellect, memory and ego, but short form ME. Subtle body, Sukshma Sharir, Amit on YouTube. In the moment of death, an enlightened person means he realizes there is no mind. Amit, have you seen the mind? Where is the mind? You cannot find. The mind is nothing but misery, ignorance, negativity, desire. MIND, misery, ignorance, negativity, desire. Where is the mind? You cannot find. And therefore, when you are enlightened in the moment of death, the enlightened person, the soul becomes one with Sip, and there is no subtle body. It dissolves. There is no karma. It just dissolves. There is nothing about guiding around, hanging around, guiding people. This is all illusion. It doesn't work. Thank you, Amit. We have got Manita, Sundar, and Kunal. Yes, Manita, Sundar, and Kunal.
So I have a couple of questions before I say this. Like a simple example to get yourself away from the bodily suffering is like when you say, who am I? The awareness of being, who am I? The soul, right? So when you say, for example, I have a headache or, I have some pain. Instead of saying it's you're the soul. You cannot have a headache. A soul cannot have a headache.
Beautiful.
So you can, my head is paining or my stomach is paining. You can,
Correct.
I cannot have a, so
very good. Very, very beautifully said. You cannot say, I have a headache, but my head is aching. That's okay. My head is aching is okay. But I have a headache is wrong.
So this simple logic can apply anywhere and everywhere, and throughout
Very well
the day,
said.
if you have that awareness, you automatically will
Yes.
transform yourself to
Yes.
the higher state.
Very, very well said. Continue, Manita. You have any other question?
Yes. So I have a question. Like, I've been following spirituality. I've been learning a lot of things. I've kind of, I've learned a lot of things. So, like, I just had from you as an example, you have reached so far. You have now, preaching, and you're leading so many souls to, lead this life of awakened, enlightenment. So, I mean, how do I am not married, I'm single. How do I start this journey to, lead the others to the same,
So
path
first,
of enlightenment?
a student asked the teacher, sir, when can I become a teacher? And the teacher said, when you finish your studying and when you finish your school and your college and your post-graduation, and when you get a teacher certificate, you can start teaching. And when you start teaching, you don't start teaching university graduates, you start teaching nursery kids. So that is the same analogy you have to follow. You have to, if I right now, Manita, what I understand of you, you are confused between two parts of Brahma Kumaris and AiR. So first of all, you need to iron out that confusion and get to one clarity. You can't have Brahma Kumari on right hand and AiR on left hand and teach people. People who, if you're teaching them, then they will not learn Telugu also, and they will not learn Tamil also. It will become Telugu, because you are mixing two languages. So two languages, if one teacher is teaching German and French at the same time, the student is at a big loss.
Okay.
Okay, got the idea?
Yeah, understood.
Thank you. Thank you, Sundargiri. And Kunal.
Yeah, sir, I'm with the same question, sir.
Okay. So let me ask you, listen to me carefully.
Okay, sir.
Do you believe in death?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. So Sundargiri's question is, I want to understand rebirth. So you believe in death. Everybody agrees that.
Actually, sir, I believe in death.
You believe in death. Okay. Next question.
Really believe in.
Next question. You believe in death. Do you believe in birth?
Okay,
you
sir.
believe that the birth will happen every day?
Yeah.
You believe birth will happen, or birth will
happening
stop,
every day,
it will
yeah.
stop happening?
Birth is happening.
Birth is happening. So you believe in birth and you believe in death. These two you believe. All right?
Yeah.
Third point. Do you believe in the law of karma?
Yes, I believe in law of karma, yeah.
The law of karma says
I'm very clear about it.
Whatever is your action, you have to pay for your action. Correct?
Yes.
So now, Sundargiri, make note of these 3 points: death, birth, and karma. The law of karma tells you that suppose I die today, Sundargiri, if I die, will death wait for me to finish all my karma, or death will come suddenly? Will death wait for us to finish karma, or death will come suddenly?
No, it may come suddenly, sir. All of a sudden it may come.
When it comes suddenly, means a karma account is not settled. Everybody who dies, the karma account is not settled. Point number 1.
Okay.
And the last point, when a child is born, why they are born with good and bad birth? What are they carrying when they come to earth? If you take these 5 points I have told you and you join it, you will agree that our karma causes the rebirth. If you just contemplate on these 5 points, tomorrow come and tell me 100% you have got clarity on rebirth. Did you understand what I'm saying, or you didn't understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understood, sir. I understood. Literally, I understood everything, sir. Literally, I understand everything, but I'm not sure that without achieving that state, what I mentioned, like, I mean, there is no effect of suffering and pleasure. That state. Without achieving that state, we can't say that there is birth. That's my point. So
Without
enlightened person only. Yeah, without achieving that state, sir, where there is no effect of suffering and pleasure. I mean, the only enlightened person can say about the rebirth.
Yes. An enlightened person can say, an enlightened person will not be reborn. An enlightened person does not have karma. An enlightened person becomes free from karma. So enlightened person is not the body that will die. Enlightened person has no mind and ego. Enlightened person is a soul. Soul becomes one with SIP. Chapter closed. Simple answer.
Yeah, yeah, chapter closed. They only know that thing,
Correct.
sir. We
Absolutely
can't
right.
say there is.
A not enlightened
Yeah, we
person will
can't say.
not be able to understand this easily. But if you have the knowledge of
Intellectually, they
intellectually you understand. Yeah.
understand, sir.
Good,
Even I
good, Sundar.
understand.
Good. I understand.
They-
So Sundar Giri, since your mic is not clear. Since you understand it intellectually, now put these 5 points. I've told you these 5 points. Write on a piece of paper. Birth, karma, death, unsettled karma, and a good or bad birth. If you join these 5 points, you will believe that rebirth is very logical. You must write these 5 points and you must join these 5 dots. 3 dots plus 2 dots. Birth, karma, and death. Then the unsettled account and the new account of karma. Where does this new account of karma come from? Where does the unsettled karma account go? If you are able to understand birth, death, karma, and the 2 accounts, that this can make you enlightened. If you contemplate on this, this can make you enlightened. Thank you, Sundar Giri. We have Kunal, Jasmine, and Premchandji. Thank you. Kunal, Jasmine, Premchand.
Hello everyone. Sir, can I speak in Hindi?
Yes, Kunal, हिंदी में बोलो.
या सर, मेरा जैसे क्वेश्चन मैंने आपसे पहले भी पूछा था परसों, तो आपने बोला था कि जैसे कि लॉ ऑफ कर्मा का कॉन्सेप्ट था कि जैसे कि हम देखते हैं कि हमारी सोसाइटी में बहुत सारे जैसे लड़कियों के रेप भी होते हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, तो क्या जो ये उनके साथ हुआ है तो हम उसको उनके पुराने कर्मों का ही फल माने?
हाँ, तो जो भी जिंदगी में होता है, जो भी, कुणाल मैंने क्या बोला? जो भी होता है कर्मों के लिए ही होता है. कर्मों के बगैर कुछ होने का सवाल ही नहीं है.
और सर इसमें ये आता ना कि फिर सबसे पहला जो जन्म हुआ है, द वेरी फर्स्ट बर्थ हैपन इन दिस अर्थ, हाउ, व्हाई दैट हैपेंड?
That very first birth it was not a birth. There was no birth. There was no first birth. It was only a manifestation, only a creation. There was no birth.
Why the manifestation happened?
वो प्रभु ने चाहा, प्रभु ने दुनिया शुरू किया. अगर आप प्रभु होते, आपको दुनिया शुरू करना है, कैसे शुरू करेंगे आप?
हाँ, तो सर इसमें ये भी तो आता है जैसे कि मैं एक रोबोट बनाता हूँ, तो अगर कोई रोबोट गलती करता है तो उसके लिए अकाउंटेबल मैं होता हूँ क्योंकि मैंने उसको रोबोट को बनाया ऐसा.
बिकॉज रोबोट को ये नहीं है ना, जान नहीं है, कर्म नहीं है.
हाँ, बट रोबोट जैसा भी बनता है वो तो मैंने ही बनाया ना, जैसे कि भगवान ने हमें ऐसे बनाया.
तो जो भी रोबोट करेगा वो आपका कर्म है. जो भी रोबोट करेगा
जी
बिल्कुल सही है.
जैसे कि मैंने अब जैसे कि कोई हम जैसे कि देखते हैं कि लड़के लड़कियों का जो भी सोसाइटी में मिक्स हैपनिंग होती है, तो वो भी तो गॉड की वजह से हो रही है एक तरीके से देखा जाए तो, क्योंकि उसने ही ऐसा बनाया.
गलत. गॉड ने हमें बनाया, ये बात सही आप समझते, मैं समझता हूं, ठीक है
जी.
लेकिन गॉड ने हमें बुद्धि दिया है. गॉड ने बुद्धि क्यों दिया है? अगर हम
बुद्धि पर गॉड ने जो बुद्धि दी है, उसने ये बुद्धि में ये भी कैपेबिलिटी डाली है कि हम बुरे एक्शन भी कर सकते हैं.
हाँ बिल्कुल. उन्होंने हमें मौका दिया है, अच्छा करो बुरा करो.
तो ये तो फिर जैसे कि मैं एक रोबोट बनाता हूँ और मैं उसमें ऐसे मैं फीडिंग करता हूँ कि भाई वो किसी को हार्म भी कर सकता है, तो उसके रोबोट थोड़ी काउंटेबल होगा, हम उसको इंसान को मानेंगे ना.
सॉरी, यू आर गिविंग अ रॉन्ग एग्जांपल कुणाल. आपका रोबोट जो है वो आप ही है. आपका रोबोट एक इंडिपेंडेंट एंटिटी नहीं है, लेकिन प्रभु ने जो कुणाल बनाया, कुणाल को इंडिपेंडेंट एंटिटी बनाया. आपका रोबोट इंडिपेंडेंट एंटिटी नहीं है. आई होप यू आर क्लियर व्हाट आई एम सेइंग.
भगवान ने तो हमें ऐसा बनाया कि हम रॉन्ग एक्शन भी कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, प्रभु ने
कर सकता है.
हाँ, प्रभु ने ऐसे मौका दिया है, राइट एक्शन करो, रॉन्ग एक्शन करो.
तो फिर इसके लिए तो हम गॉड को काउंटेबल माने कि हमें क्यों कैपेबिलिटी दी कि हम रॉन्ग एक्शन भी कर सकते हैं.
गॉड को क्यों आप ब्लेम करेंगे? गॉड ने आपको मौका दिया सही करने के लिए, गलत करने को कौन बोल रहा है आपको?
और कैपेबिलिटी जो गॉड ने ऐसे बनाई है कि हम बुरे एक्शन भी कर सकते हैं, ये कैपेबिलिटी तो हमें गॉड से ही मिली है।
हाँ बिल्कुल गॉड से मिली है, लेकिन आपको सही चुनना है, गलत मत चुनो।
सर जैसे कि मैं आपको बताऊं कि मैंने रोबोट बनाया, और रोबोट ऐसे भी
अरे
डिजाइन है,
अरे
मैंने ऐसा
रोबोट
करा है कि
रोबोट
वो।
का एग्जाम्पल गलत है, रोबोट का एग्जाम्पल गलत है। प्रभु
सर
ने रोबोट नहीं बनाया, सुनो सुनो, प्रभु ने कुणाल को रोबोट नहीं बनाया। अगर प्रभु ने कुणाल को रोबोट बनाया होता तो प्रभु की गलती है।
सर जैसे कि अब हम देखते हैं सोसाइटी में सबका जो इंटेलेक्ट लेवल है वो अलग अलग होता है, सब एक जैसे नहीं होते हैं, सबकी जो
गलत
सोचने की क्षमता है, जो
गलत
सोचने।
गलत गलत। हर एक का इंटेलेक्ट को डिस्क्रिमिनेट करने का पावर है। हर हर चाकू काट सकता है, हर इंटेलेक्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेट कर सकता है। ये सोचना कि किसी के इंटेलेक्ट कम में, गलत बात है। ये तो माइंड कर रहा है, ये मन कर रहा है।
हाँ, तो जैसे कि किसी ने बुरा एक्शन किया तो क्या वो गॉड की मर्जी के खिलाफ एक्शन था?
क्या एक्शन था?
हाँ, जैसे कि मान लो कि मैंने किसी घर चोरी कर दी,
अभी
तो जो
मैं एक
मैंने
सवाल
एक्शन किया।
मैं अभी आपसे एक सवाल करूं?
जी जी।
आप मेरी बात सुन रहे हैं?
जी जी सर।
आप मेरे से बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल करते हैं, सही।
जी सर।
लेकिन मैं आपको 3 दिन भी, 4 दिन, 5 दिन पहले भी आपको रिक्वेस्ट किया था 8 बजे आओ, आपको मैं सही जवाब दे सकता हूं, मैंने आपसे बोला था।
जी सर, मैं लास्ट टाइम आया भी था।
लेकिन आप पहले आएंगे तो मैं आपको सही जवाब दे दूंगा। अभी 9 बजने वाले हैं, तो 9 बजे मैं आपको और डिटेल में कैसे जवाब दे सकता हूं मैं आपको?
सर जब मैं लास्ट टाइम आया था तब भी ये डिस्कशन हो रहा था लव के बारे में, ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट आपने पहले ही कर दिया था पीपीटी प्रेजेंटेशन।
तो आप कल क्या डेट है? कल मंडे, वेडनेसडे आप आएंगे 8 बजे?
जी सर।
वेडनेसडे आप 8 बजे आओ, मैं आपको 15 मिनट समझाता हूँ, सबको बेनिफिट होगा आपका क्वेश्चन से।
ओके सर।
बट अब अभी आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड जो मैं बोलना चाहता हूं। प्रभु ने इंसान को बनाया, प्रभु ने इंसान को खुद ही से बनाया। जैसे स्पाइडर ने खुद के थूक से वो अपना वेब बनाता है। ये कुणाल जो दिखता है ना, ये प्रभु ही है। ये अच्छा बुरा जो कर रहा है प्रभु ही कर रहा है। ये जो दुख और सुख मिल रहा है वो प्रभु को ही मिल रहा है। पर कुणाल इसको समझाने की आपका बहस बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। वेडनेसडे 8 PM, कुणाल यू हैव अ डेट विथ मी। थैंक यू जैस्मिन एंड प्रेमचंद जी।
Sip, I love you all.
Yes, Jasmine.
Yes, growing up, I was taught that salvation is freedom from sins, which gives you eternal life. But now I view as salvation or freedom as freedom from karma and me, which is mind and ego, after becoming one with Sip. Now you talked
Yeah.
about it having two parts. Can you repeat the two parts for my notes, please?
No, what did you say?
You
What's the
said
last point you said?
you said it has two parts. The first part is freedom from suffering on earth.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah, yeah.
second part?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let me explain to you what you just said, right? That eternal peace and becoming one with. See, so in the Western concept, it is about going to heaven and and meeting God. But Jasmine, being on this call, I think you have understood very clearly what it is. So the two parts for your notes are as follows. Nirvana, my dear friends, to conclude this, Premchand will come last. Nirvana, Moksha, salvation. What Jasmine is asking has two parts. Part number 1, freedom from all suffering on earth, freedom from the pain of the body, freedom from misery of the mind, freedom from agony of the ego, which means freedom from fear, worry, stress, anxiety, regret, shame, and guilt, freedom from anger, hate, revenge, jealousy, pride, greed, selfishness. So, Jasmine, all the freedom from all the suffering in this world is part A. And part B, the second part, is after you are free from all suffering, when the body dies, which it will die, body will die, you will not return for one more suffering trip. When the body dies, you will become one with the Supreme, one with the Divine. That is salvation. That is moksha. That is nirvana. Clear?
Very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Premchandji, last is Premchandji. That's all. Premchandji, namaskar.
नमस्कार गुरुदेव।
बोलिए जी। अनम्यूट प्रेमचंद जी, प्रेमचंद अनम्यूट, प्रेमचंद अनम्यूट कीजिए। हाँ जी बोलिए।
हमारे हमारे 4 पुरुषार्थ हैं, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष। नैतिकता से जीवन जीते हुए अर्थोपार्जन करिए और आवश्यकताओं को कम से कम करते जाइए, आप मोक्ष के काफी करीब पहुंच जाएंगे। तो इसको कैसे, मोक्ष को कैसे अचीव करेगा आदमी? क्योंकि जैसे ही उसकी आवश्यकता है, माइंड अपने आप खत्म हो जाएगा, बॉडी अपने आप खत्म हो जाएगी, ईगो खत्म हो जाएगा, तो उसको मुक्त तो हो गया ना, कि नहीं हुआ?
प्रेमचंद जी, ये जो आपने कहा ना 4 पुरुषार्थ, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष, सही आपने बोला, ठीक है। तो आदमी, प्रेमचंद जी, आदमी क्या करता है? धर्म सीखता है, धर्म के बाद आदमी अर्थ में अटक जाता है, पैसों में अटक जाता है, काम में अटक जाता है।
आदमी मुक्त हो गया जब उसके, आदमी मुक्त हो गया क्योंकि उसकी आवश्यकता है नहीं, तो वो तो मोक्ष हो गया, नहीं हो गया उसका? या मोक्ष मतलब नेक्स्ट rebirth है?
बिल्कुल, जो आदमी अर्थ और काम से मुक्त होगा, जो आदमी धर्म से जिएगा, उसको मोक्ष मिलेगा
ना उसे?
बिल्कुल मिलेगा, लेकिन हमें काम और अर्थ में फंसना नहीं है।
हाँ, वो वापस नहीं जाना है उससे। अगर जाएगा तो फिर तो डेविएशन हो जाएगा।
हाँ बिल्कुल, जो आदमी तन मन अहंकार का एक पालतू कुत्ता बन जाता है, जो आदमी एक स्लेव बन जाता है, कैदी बन जाता है, वो बेचारा फंस जाता है और वो वापस
वो उसके लास्ट कर्मों का फल होता है।
नहीं, उनके दोनों कर्मों का फल होता है, लास्ट कर्मों, पिछले कर्मों का फल और इस जन्म के कर्मों का फल, दोनों ट्विन कर्म।
इसी जन्म के आखिरी पीरियड के जो कर्म होते हैं, वो उसको वो डिसाइड कर देते हैं कि उसे क्या होना है। अगर उसको इच्छा नहीं है तो क्या है,
जिसको
व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन मोक्ष एंड साल्वेशन? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन मोक्ष एंड साल्वेशन?
मोक्ष हिंदू कहते हैं, जो क्रिश्चियन लोग हैं वो साल्वेशन कहते हैं। मोक्ष में हम प्रभु से एक हो जाते हैं, और साल्वेशन में हम प्रभु के पास जाते हैं।
प्रभु के पास चले जाते हैं।
प्रभु के पास कोई जा नहीं सकता, ये तो झूठ है, लेकिन उनका यकीन है, इसलिए वर्ड साल्वेशन है।
तो मोक्ष
सही है,
अचीवमेंट है।
हाँ, मोक्ष ही सही। Thank you, Premchand ji. Thank you for the conclusion. With folded hands, I bow down to you. It is time to close.